So you want to own a food truck, buy a truck, cook great food. Find a busy street, open the service window, watch the money come in. No expensive restaurant lease, no massive dining room, no dozens of employees, just your recipes, your customers, and the freedom to run your own business. It's the version people see every day on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. A bright truck parked on a crowded corner. Customers standing in line before the window even opens. A sold-out sign hanging before 1 o'clock. An owner smiling for the camera. After what looks like an easy afternoon of serving food. From the outside, it feels like the perfect business. A restaurant without the enormous startup costs. A business with lower risk, lower overhead, and higher flexibility. For thousands of aspiring entrepreneurs, it looks like the smartest way to enter the food industry. But the business doesn't begin when the service window opens. It begins hours earlier. Long before the first customer walks over with cash or a credit card, most food truck owners are already working. Their day usually starts around 6 in the morning. Not inside the truck. Inside a licensed commercial kitchen known as a commissary, this is where almost every successful food truck actually begins its day. Vegetables are washed and chopped. Fresh meat is trimmed, seasoned, and marinated. Rice is cooked. Sauces are prepared. Ingredients are portioned into containers. Fresh inventory is loaded. Yesterday's inventory is checked. Today's sales forecast is reviewed. Ice is packed. Beverages are stocked. Cooking equipment is inspected before leaving the kitchen. Every meal customers buy later depends on the work completed here. None of these hours generate revenue. They're simply the cost of being ready to open. Once preparation is finished, everything has to be loaded into the truck. Food, packaging, cleaning supplies, cooking oil, propane, fresh water, utensils, paper products, condiments. Every forgotten item creates a problem later in the day. Only after everything is checked does the truck finally leave for its operating location. By the time the first customer arrives, several hours of work have already been completed. Then the lunch rush begins. Orders arrive one after another. The line gets longer. The grill never stops. The fryer keeps running. Receipts continue printing. Customers see constant movement. From the outside, it looks like money is being made every minute. What they don't see is that every minute also creates new costs. Every burger uses inventory, every taco consumes ingredients, every sandwich increases labor, every hour burns fuel inside the truck's generator, every order slowly wears down expensive commercial equipment. Revenue is growing, expenses are growing at exactly the same time. Then lunch ends, customers leave. The work doesn't. The grill must be cleaned. The fryer needs fresh oil. Food containers are emptied. Refrigerators are reorganized. Fresh water tanks are refilled. Gray water tanks must be emptied according to health regulations. Trash has to be disposed of properly. Cooking surfaces need to be sanitized. Inventory must be counted again. Spoiled food has to be recorded. Tomorrow's ingredient order needs to be prepared. Then comes the paperwork. Purchase invoices, supplier payments, inventory records, maintenance logs, health department documentation, employee schedules, permit renewals, equipment inspections. Only after everything is complete does the owner finally head home. For many operators, that's a 12 to 14-hour workday, sometimes longer. And after repeating that schedule 6 days every week, many first-time owners are surprised by one number. A genuinely good month often leaves the owner taking home somewhere between $3,000 and $7,000 before taxes. That's the business most people never see. The food truck isn't just a kitchen on wheels, it's a complete restaurant compressed into a vehicle barely 20 feet long. Every square foot has to generate revenue. Every decision affects profit. Every mistake costs money. And almost every new owner underestimates how quickly those costs begin to accumulate. And naturally, the first question becomes simple. How much does it actually cost to start? At first, the answer sounds surprisingly reasonable. A used food truck that's already equipped with a commercial kitchen usually costs somewhere between $30,000 and $80,000. Compared to opening a traditional restaurant, that seems like an incredible bargain. Many people stop researching right there. That's usually where the first expensive mistake happens. Used food trucks are rarely inexpensive because someone simply wanted a newer model. Most are sold because expensive maintenance is beginning to catch up with them. The refrigeration system may struggle to maintain food-safe temperatures. The generator may no longer produce enough electricity for every appliance running simultaneously. The commercial exhaust hood may no longer satisfy updated fire regulations. The plumbing system may fail current health department requirements. Electrical wiring may not support newer commercial equipment. Many of those problems remain completely invisible during a casual inspection. The owner may not even mention them. You'll often discover them only after purchasing the truck, and the health inspector certainly won't overlook them. If the truck doesn't meet code, it doesn't operate. It doesn't matter how good the food tastes. It doesn't matter how much money you've invested. Until every issue is corrected, the truck stays parked. Now the hidden expenses begin, replacing commercial refrigeration, upgrading electrical systems, installing a compliant fire suppression system, retrofitting plumbing, Improving ventilation, repairing cooking equipment, updating safety systems. Those upgrades can easily add another $5,000 to $15,000 before serving your very first customer. Some entrepreneurs avoid that uncertainty by purchasing a brand new truck. A custom-built food truck usually costs between $75,000 and $175,000. That higher price buys much more than newer paint. You're purchasing reliability, a properly sized commercial generator, a certified commercial exhaust hood, an integrated fire suppression system, commercial refrigeration designed for food safety, modern plumbing built to current health codes, updated electrical infrastructure, factory warranties, and financing options that many commercial lenders are actually willing to approve. Most loans range between 5 and 10 years, with interest rates typically falling between 4% and 12%, depending on market conditions and the borrower's credit profile. Ironically, many experienced operators choose neither extreme. Instead, they purchase a used truck with a reliable engine and chassis, then completely rebuild the kitchen themselves. That approach usually lands somewhere between $80,000 and $120,000 after everything is finished. And everything includes far more than most first-time owners imagine. A commercial fire suppression system alone can cost between $5,000 and $12,000 a 3-compartment sink, freshwater tanks, gray water tanks, a commercial hot water heater, another $2,000 to $5,000. Then come the exterior wrap, menu boards, LED lighting, branding, and signage. After that comes the technology, a modern point of sale, POS system, card readers, receipt printers, inventory management software, cellular internet, payment processing hardware. Each purchase seems manageable on its own. Combined, they become another significant investment. Add every major expense together, and launching a properly equipped, fully code-compliant food truck in cities like New York, Los Angeles, or Chicago often requires somewhere between $100,000 and $150,000. That's before buying your first ingredient, before serving your first customer, before earning your first dollar. Most people assume buying the truck is the hardest part of the business. It isn't. Because the moment your truck is finally ready to operate, you discover something every successful owner learns very quickly. Owning the truck doesn't give you permission to sell food. The government does, and that's where the real business begins. Buying the truck is only the beginning. Before you can legally serve your first customer, you'll have to satisfy several different government agencies. Each one has its own forms, its own inspections, its own deadlines, and its own fees: business registration, food handler certifications, health department permits, fire department inspections, parking authorizations, commercial vehicle registrations. Depending on where you operate, each approval may come from a different office. None of them move at the same speed. Industry estimates show that in highly regulated American cities, first-year regulatory compliance can cost more than $28,000. That's before paying employees, before buying inventory, before collecting your first dollar of revenue. The money is only one part of the challenge. Time is the other. An inspection gets postponed. Your opening date moves back another week. A permit application needs additional documents. Another delay. The health department requests modifications to your plumbing system. Back to the contractor. One signature is missing. Another appointment. The business can't open until every requirement is complete. For first-time owners, these delays often consume weeks or even months. Then there are the rules that surprise almost everyone. Take New York City. The city limits the number of full-time food truck permits available. The waiting list isn't measured in months or even years. It's measured in decades. As a result, many operators rent permits from existing permit holders. That creates another monthly expense before serving a single meal. Los Angeles presents a different challenge. Operators must document every visit to their commissary kitchen. Health inspectors can request those records during inspections. Miss a required entry, and your business could face penalties or temporary suspension. The paperwork never really ends. Permits expire. Certifications require renewal. Health inspections continue throughout the year. Every successful operator understands one simple reality. Compliance isn't a one-time expense. It's a permanent operating cost. After the first year, many food truck owners still spend between $600 and $500 every month on permits, commissary fees, health requirements, and regulatory compliance. And that's before fuel, before food, before payroll. This brings us to one of the biggest misconceptions in the entire industry. Most people believe a food truck eliminates rent. Technically, it doesn't. In almost every major American and British city, food trucks cannot legally operate as completely independent kitchens. They need a commissary. A commissary is a licensed commercial kitchen that serves as the truck's operational headquarters. It's where food is prepared. Bulk inventory is stored. Fresh water is collected. Gray water is disposed of. Cooking equipment is cleaned. Health inspections are documented. Without a commissary, many trucks simply cannot operate legally. Naturally, that kitchen isn't free. Commissary rent in major cities generally ranges from $800 to $2,000 per month. Rain or sunshine, busy season or slow season. That bill arrives every month. Many new owners believe they escaped restaurant rent. In reality, they simply moved it somewhere else. The commissary creates another challenge. Scheduling. Most commercial kitchens operate using reserved time blocks. You can't simply walk in whenever you want. Morning preparation may already be booked weeks ahead. If your scheduled prep time begins at 6 o'clock, arriving at 7 doesn't extend your reservation. You simply lose an hour of production. If another operator is running behind schedule, you wait. Every minute lost. Inside, the commissary reduces the amount of food available during the lunch rush. Time quickly becomes one of your most valuable resources. That's why experienced operators become obsessed with efficiency, which leads directly to another costly mistake: the menu. Most new owners believe more menu items attract more customers. On paper, that sounds reasonable. More choices should mean more sales. The opposite is usually true. Every additional menu item introduces another layer of complexity. New ingredients, additional storage, longer preparation, more cooking steps, more opportunities for mistakes. A 12-item menu looks impressive to customers. Behind the counter, it creates operational chaos. Employees must remember more recipes. Inventory becomes harder to manage. Food spoilage increases, preparation takes longer, service slows down, and slower service creates a problem most customers never notice: longer ticket times. For a food truck, speed isn't simply about convenience, it's directly connected to revenue. Every customer waiting in line represents potential income. Every extra minute spent assembling one order delays the next. Successful operators understand this. That's why many of the highest performing food trucks serve only 4 to 6 core menu items. That isn't a creative limitation, it's a financial strategy. A smaller menu simplifies purchasing, reduces inventory, minimizes waste, improves consistency, and most importantly, increases the number of customers served during the busiest part of the day. The menu itself becomes a profit optimization system. The same principle applies to ingredients. Not every popular meal is profitable. Take a premium beef brisket sandwich, customers love it, but brisket is expensive. High-quality meat can push food costs to 35% or even 45% of the selling price. That's before labor, before packaging, before credit card fees, before rent. A menu built entirely around expensive proteins often struggles to generate healthy margins. The most profitable trucks balance premium items with high-margin products: French fries, rice bowls, soft drinks, lemonade, sides with ingredient costs closer to 8% to 18% of the selling price. Those products quietly subsidize the expensive menu items customers came to buy. It's a form of menu engineering. Customers rarely notice it. Owners rely on it every day. Then come the operating expenses. This is where most people's financial assumptions completely fall apart. Many believe that once the truck has been purchased, monthly expenses become relatively small, mostly food, maybe a little fuel. The reality is much more demanding. A food truck is still a commercial vehicle. Fully loaded, it weighs several tons. Fuel economy generally ranges between 8 and 12 miles per gallon. Now add the commercial generator. Many trucks run an 8 to 12 kilowatt generator throughout the entire service day to power refrigerators, lighting, ventilation systems, and cooking equipment. Combined fuel costs often reach $400 to $1,200 every month. Cooking equipment requires propane, another $200 to $500 monthly. Insurance comes next. Commercial auto liability, general business liability, equipment insurance protecting thousands of dollars in kitchen equipment. Together, insurance alone often adds another $275 to $600 every month. And then something eventually breaks, because every commercial vehicle breaks. A generator, a refrigeration compressor, the transmission, the alternator. One unexpected repair can erase weeks of profit almost overnight. Owning a food truck isn't simply about cooking. It's about constantly managing risk. And the biggest financial challenge hasn't even appeared yet, because once the truck opens its service window, every single customer begins changing the economics of the business. That's where the numbers become even more surprising. Let's follow the money. A customer walks up to your truck and orders lunch. The total comes to $14. It feels like you've just made $14. You haven't. The first deduction happens immediately. Sales tax. In many American cities, that's around 8%. Roughly 1.12 never belonged to you. You simply collected it on behalf of the government. Your actual revenue is now 12 divided. Next comes the cost of goods sold, often called COGS. A well-managed food truck keeps food costs between 28% and 33% of the selling price. Assume you're operating at 30%. The ingredients alone cost about €3,86. Now you're left with $9,82. Then comes packaging. The food container, napkins, not sauce cups, disposable cutlery, carry bags. Individually, they seem inexpensive. Across thousands of orders, they become a major operating expense. Packaging typically removes another 60 to 70 cents. Now you're down to roughly $8.35. Most customers don't pay with cash anymore. They use credit cards. That means payment processors like Square, Toast, and Clover take their percentage. On a $14 order, processing fees remove nearly 50 cents. Your remaining contribution falls to around $7.85. Labor comes next. Even if you're the one cooking every meal, your time has value. And if you hire just one employee at $18 per hour, the real cost is much higher after payroll taxes and workers' compensation. Spread across every order, labor often consumes another $2 to $2.50 per meal. Suddenly, that $14 lunch has become roughly $5 available to cover everything else. That's called your contribution margin, and it still hasn't paid for your commissary. Fuel, insurance, loan payments, maintenance, permits, subscriptions, or your own salary. If your monthly fixed overhead is around $5,000, and for many operators it is, you'll need to sell well over 900 meals every month just to reach break even. Only after that does real profit begin, which explains why speed matters so much. A food truck doesn't make money evenly throughout the day. In most downtown business districts, office parks, and university areas, nearly 70% of daily revenue arrives within about 90 minutes, usually between 11:45 a.m. and 1:15 p.m. That short lunch rush determines whether the day is profitable. Imagine your average ticket takes 1 minute to prepare. You can serve roughly 60 customers every hour. Now imagine every order takes just 30 seconds longer. Now that doesn't sound significant. But during a busy lunch rush, those extra seconds reduce the number of customers you can serve dramatically. Same truck, same menu, same location, hundreds of dollars less revenue because of 30 seconds. Then comes something no operator can control: the weather. Restaurants have walls, food trucks don't. Heavy rain can reduce walk-up traffic by 70% to 90% almost overnight. Extreme summer heat keeps customers indoors while placing enormous stress on refrigeration systems and kitchen staff. Winter creates another challenge. In cities like Chicago, New York, Boston, Toronto, and throughout the United Kingdom, street traffic drops sharply for months. The insurance payment still arrives, the commissary rent still arrives, the truck loan still arrives. Revenue changes with the weather. Expenses don't. That's why experienced operators diversify. Street service alone rarely provides stable income throughout the year. The smartest owners build corporate catering relationships. Corporate lunches offer scheduled headcounts, pre-approved menus, advanced deposits, predictable revenue. Many catering contracts generate 20% to 35% net profit margins, significantly higher than ordinary street sales. Large festivals and concerts can also produce impressive revenue. Some events generate $5,000 to $20,000 in a single weekend. But those opportunities carry their own risks. Entry fees, revenue sharing agreements, large inventory purchases, and the constant possibility that bad weather ruins attendance. Success in this business isn't built on one busy Saturday, it's built on consistency. Perhaps the greatest example is Roy Choi and Kogi BBQ. His Korean barbecue truck became one of the biggest food truck success stories in America. But Kogi wasn't built on luck alone. It combined a unique menu, exceptional execution, perfect timing, and early social media marketing. Most importantly, it became much more than a food truck. The truck validated the concept. The business expanded beyond it. That's the path followed by many successful operators. The food truck becomes the proof of concept, not the final destination, because the most valuable asset isn't the truck, it's the brand you build around it. The truth is surprisingly simple. The food truck isn't passive income. It isn't a shortcut into the restaurant business. It's one of the most demanding small businesses you can own. The owners who succeed aren't always the best chefs. They're the best operators. They control costs, protect cash flow, manage inventory, reduce waste, build catering, relationships, maintain their equipment before it fails, and prepare for slow seasons before they arrive. The ones who don't usually discover the same lesson too late. A food truck isn't just a kitchen on wheels. It's an entire restaurant compressed into a few hundred square feet, operating inside a tiny lunch window where every second, every customer, and every decision affects profitability. The operators who understand that reality are the ones who survive long enough to build something much bigger, and that's the secret business of food trucks.